I've never cycled before, but I spent the past few months biking across all of Japan while camping and exploring. This video will be about the struggles I went through and what my daily life looks like as a bikepacker. I started my trip in Wakanai, which is in northern Hokkaido, and boy was it tough getting used to biking. Like I've said, I've never done anything like this before. On a side note, I talked about my motives and why I'm doing this in my first video, so check that out if you're curious. But for the first week, my friend Mitchell from New Zealand joined me, and I started off super strong by getting food poisoning and needing the bathroom every 30 minutes. Not fun. But after that week, I was alone, in the elements, unfamiliar with my surroundings, in a country where English is not commonly spoken. The first 2 weeks are our make or break point, I think, and I learned a lot. The first thing I'd do before I'd start my day was to stretch. I have tendonitis in my Achilles, and that ruined a lot of my aspirations as a child. But I wasn't gonna let that stop me now. Once I get on the bike, the day began. On average, I'd bike about 8 hours a day, including a lot of breaks. Some days more, some days less. I had to experiment a lot with my bike to find the right adjustments. My butt would hurt, my shoulders, my neck especially, my wrists, and eventually my knees hurt. Being in one position for so long isn't very healthy, but I got used to it and my leg muscles are the biggest they've ever been. This helped since the day often included steep inclines and mountains. Japan, as safe as it is full of mountains. Now I'm a healthy guy, but at the start, I'd be lying if I said I didn't get off the bike and walked at times. It was killer, especially since my bike was so heavy. But at some point, things suddenly changed, and although it was still tough, biking up mountains kind of became a thing I looked forward to, and I got really good at it. The best part was going down though. I had probably gone way too fast for my own safety, but I felt like I deserved it after the ascent. But this begs the question, how did I know where to go? Before I started, I downloaded a bunch of offline maps on Google, Mappy.cz, Gaia GPS, etc., and I would import a route into one of those apps. This way I didn't need data, which helped in case I was lost, which, yes, that happened far too often. Constantly checking my phone for directions was somewhat of a pain, but buying a GPS was not in the budget. Plus, it's kind of fun getting lost too. Also, the Japanese drive on the left side of the road, like the UK. That only took a few life-threatening encounters to get used to. Now I have a confession to make, and I'm not proud of it. I am not a foodie. There, I said it. I don't live to eat, I eat to live. And I know that might make me a pariah in some societies, but it's true, and it affected the way I approached eating as a bikepacker. So how does one survive? I bought a lightweight pot and a portable stove to cook on while on the roads. I can count how many times I used that thing on one hand, because convenience stores are everywhere in Japan, even in the middle of nowhere. 7-Eleven, Lawson's, Family Mart, and Seiko Mart, which is a Hokkaido exclusive, were my lifelines. If you're in a city, there's at least one on every block, and that is not an exaggeration. If you are unfamiliar with Japanese convenience stores, boy do I have some juicy information for you. In Japan, convenience stores not only carry basic essentials, they carry high quality, fresh, tasty, and affordable food. Rice bowls, salads, fresh sushi, snacks, drinks, baked goods, hot water for ramen, microwaves to heat up food, amazing fried chicken, fruit, vegetables, steamed meat buns, cheap alcohol, and the list can go on forever. Convenience stores were integral to my trip. Almost every day I had breakfast, lunch, and dinner at one. I would plan my breaks around them and camp near them so I had a source for food. If I needed a bathroom, they were always there for me, and I would fill up my water bottles in their sink so I didn't need a filter. I could throw away my trash at them, and public trash cans are hard to find. There's actually an interesting reason why there are no public trash cans in Japan, and you can check my previous video where I explain that. My morning routine was built around convenience stores. I'd get to one, buy breakfast and a coffee, stretch, fill up my bottles, apply sunscreen, use the bathroom, and set off. Now of course, I didn't always eat at them. When I was in a city or town, I tried to get higher quality food and wanted to try local cuisines. Every area in Japan has their own specialty, and although I wanted to and did try a lot, I couldn't try everything. I know I said that I'm not a foodie, but on this trip, I'd eat like a wild hog. If I had to guess, I'd eat like 3,000 or 4,000 calories a day. And that's because I'm outside in the sun or rain, biking all day. My body needed energy, so I kinda just ate whatever I wanted. 2 heaping plates of meat and rice? You got it. An entire bag of cookies? Why not? 4 ice cream bars? Flatulence, here I come. I actually lost a bit of body weight on this trip despite that diet. Okay, that's enough about food. So after I've eaten, where do I sleep? Well, I'm on a budget and I had a few options. 1. Search on couchsurfing or warm showers for a host who will let me stay with them. I talked about this in my previous video again if you're curious. This is the most desirable option, but it's hard to set up and arrange. 2. Look for a hostel or cheap accommodation. Hostels aren't very common outside of big cities, and if there is one, it's still going to cost a bit of cash. 3. Look for a designated campground. Japan has quite a few of these, but they were often pretty darn expensive for some reason. Often 20 USD for a night. And 4. Find a public space to camp at. Ding, we have a winner. This is what I did the most. It was free, and I'd look for a park with a bathroom. I'd set up my tent, had an inflatable mattress, and an inflatable pillow. It was often beautiful, refreshing to be in nature, and feel the freedom. But Judas Priest, it was so uncomfortable. At the start, it was blazing hot in there since my tent had bad ventilation. Near the end, it was bloody cold and I had an extremely thin sleeping bag, so there were nights where I shivered instead of slept. This is all on me, but I didn't want to spend any more money on gear. Was it weird to camp in parks? Yeah, I was afraid someone would say something, but multiple times people only came up and asked me about my story, what I was doing, and offered me food, never anything negative. And I chose parks because if you look at the terrain in Japan, very little of it is flat. And if it is flat, you bet people are living in that area. But more importantly, clear, wild, flat places are hard to find because the flora in Japan is so unbelievably thick and tall. 66% of the country is forest, and the undergrowth is impossible to traverse. It's like a jungle. So that left me with parks, which were usually easier to find than finding some random place in the middle of nowhere. I think common people would be a bit concerned about camping, and I certainly had a very prominent concern in mind. The bears. In Hokkaido, there are brown bears, and in the rest of Japan, there are black bears. I made sure I didn't have any food at night, and I'd sleep with my knife ready, even though that probably wouldn't have helped me much against an angry 900-pound ball of hunger and fur with knives for nails.
Shit.
I didn't buy bear spray either because, money? In the mornings, I'd try to wait to put my tent away and let it dry in the sun. Otherwise, it would smell. But that certainly wasn't the only thing that smelled. As a bikepacker, I have to carry as little as possible, and that means wearing my clothes over and over and over. It was not a pleasant aroma at times, especially when it was a hot, sunny day biking over mountains. I took any opportunity to shower and wash my clothes that I could, which usually was at some accommodation. There were few clear and clean lakes to bathe in, and if I needed a shower, I'd usually go to an onsen. Being stinky was my biggest insecurity when I met people. I really did not want to smell. Sometimes, though, I didn't really need a shower because I was frequently caught in the rain. Japan has some pretty extreme weather. If it was raining, I'd check to see for how long. If for only 30 minutes, I would just hang out, but many times, it would be all day. Rain certainly introduced a few issues for me. I didn't want to stop and be too cold, nor did I want to have too much on and be too hot while biking either. It was far more dangerous biking in the rain. As there were many thunderstorms, I'd also try to seek shelter in case of a freak lightning strike.
So it's been raining quite a bit today. It's really coming down now. Normally I can stop and find cover, but I'm in some mountain range on the coast, so there is none. I'm completely soaked. This jacket is no longer waterproof. But regardless, I've about 20 Ks to go to reach Murakami, which is the town I'm hoping to get to, find some place to camp at. I'm just gonna power through it. It should take me about an hour. I hope the rain stops by then, but I don't see an end in sight. I can see the horizon. Usually I can see when the clouds are gonna come away in part, but I see fuzz in the sky, so it's gonna be a wet, painful hour, but I'm not freezing yet. I don't think the wind is too strong. I'm just gonna see if I can power through it, chill out at a convenience store and warm up when I get there, so fingers are crossed.
I at least felt safer from strangers and animals when it rained while I camped, but with that thin sleeping bag, it often meant I was freezing cold. There are some things I wanted to note about biking in Japan. Bike lanes aren't protected, and often there weren't any bike lanes at all. Thankfully, Japanese drivers give a lot of space when passing, except in tunnels. because there's no shoulder and we're often only one lane each way.
This is terrifying.
Those were always tough on my heart because I felt bad holding up traffic or scared when someone passed. But I didn't have another choice. Additionally, there were a lot of narrow roads and quite a few trucks too. In this video, you might have noticed there's quite a few sidewalks though, but I'm not riding on them. Why am I being that annoying cyclist? Well, in rural places, the sidewalks were awful. Like I mentioned, the flora here is thick and aggressive, and the sidewalks were often overgrown. Do you know what that means? Running into one too many spider webs with those neon spiders of death. Furthermore, the sidewalks would randomly stop and I'd have to lift my bike onto the street. Lastly, the sidewalks weren't as well maintained as the roads, and although small bumps aren't a big deal, they add up if you bike 8 hours a day. During those 8 hours though, I was pretty alone. Just like when you drive for a long time, you're in your head just thinking about other things. It was great to reflect and meditate. However, it would be too much at times. Some days I'd put in my headphones and listen to podcasts or music just to put my mind at ease. Otherwise, I'd miss home, I'd miss friends and family, I'd miss comfort. I had been backpacking for a year before the cycling tour, and during that, I was lonely, but I'd still meet other people. But now, on the bike and camping, I was alone too. But I'd also realized how much fun I'm having and what an unbelievable experience I was on. As with many other aspects of life, you have to focus on the positives, and there were a plethora of positive things to focus on. Getting the chance to stay active every day, getting to try new foods, meeting people, and experiencing culture. Mindset was half the battle of this trip. On the road, I did meet a few other cyclists, which was nice, but there weren't as many as one would anticipate or hope. In Hokkaido, there were plenty of cyclists, but after that, they were few and far between. Accommodation often helped in times of loneliness. At some points, I'd have to take other modes of transportation, like some ferries. Ferries here in Japan are way different than the ones I had taken in other parts of the world. For starters, check this out. There were some seats on ferries, but most people laid down on these tatami-like floors and slept. The ground wasn't very soft, but on a long boat ride, it was great to be able to lay down and not have to purchase a room. Another odd thing was that the only foods served on them were vending machine foods. If you know a bit about Japan, vending machines are everywhere. But on the boat, I didn't really have a choice for food other than that. At the end of the day, I love biking, and there's a reason why I went on this trip. I love the freedom and the wind in my hair or helmet. It's great exercise, and it's the best way to explore. On foot is too slow. On transit, you can't decide where to explore. On a bike, I decide my own fate. Despite the struggles, I regret absolutely nothing. If you want to try your first tour, my top tips would be pack light, get a lighter bike, and choose inline bags. I underestimated how tough it is to bike into the wind. Also, if you're healthy, just go. I knew I would never prepare for something like this, and the only way I'd do it was, well, going. So if you're feeling inspired, that's my message to you. But that's it for this segment. Keep an eye out for the others coming out soon though. If you haven't already, I also have other videos about this trip on my channel. Go ahead and check them out. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.